was in the night when I first heard that you moved on.
All right. Hello, good evening, and welcome to 1TV Port Harcourt Center, coming to you live from Megabar 97.3 FM. I am Esther Chimize. First, the headlines. Presidential flag bearer of PDP, Atiku Abubakar, calls his 2023 campaign programs Unity Seed. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike insists on Yocha Ayu's sack as PDP National Chairman. Indigenous people of Biafra IPOP rejects Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and Igbo presidency. Russia says Ukraine behind death of Putin's ally's daughter. And the news in details will be right back shortly after this break. You're welcome back, and now the news in details. The presidential flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has hinted at his campaign programs ahead of the 2023 presidential election. Atiku at the 62nd National Nigeria Bar Association Annual General Conference held in Eco Hotels, Victoria Island, Lagos State, said his campaign programs will be called Unity Seed. Former Vice President said this in tweets via his verified Twitter handle on Monday. Speaking on the acronyms, he said Unity Seed represents unity, security, economic, education, and devolution of power to states and local governments that would the basis of his policy framework if he is elected the next Nigerian president next year. Atiku revealed that the five-fold program is possible to rebirth Nigeria, which the populace has been clamoring for. The indigenous people of Biafra IPOP has rejected the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and Igbo presidency. IPOP said it's neither interested in an Igbo presidency or a Nigerian president of Southeast extraction. The group said its members are not part of Obi supporters because they are interested in Nigeria's disintegration. Ima Powerful, the spokesman of the separatist group, said Nigeria was irredeemable. IPOB also reiterated its call for the release of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu, and the referendum in the southeast. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, says the 2023 election will not be about religion or tribe, but about character and competence and leadership. He stated this on Monday in Lagos at the ongoing Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) Annual General Conference. According to Obi, the country's woes have gotten so bad that the 2023 elections would not be about religion or tribe, but about who has the character and competence to deliver the country from its current mess. Following a frank peace session, the camp of Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has made two concessions to the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, to douse the tension in the party. It has ruled out Wike's defection from PDP to any party despite the internal challenges facing the party. The camp has also accepted to be part of the party's presidential campaign. However, Wike's group was not interested in making the governor the Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, but it gave a condition to Atiku before it can fully play a role in the party's 2023 presidential campaign. The camp insisted on the stepping down of the national chairman, Dr. Iyorchia Ayu. PDP Board of Trustees Chairman Walid Jibrin says it is unfair for the PDP to have both its presidential candidate and the national chairman from the northern region of the country. Jibrin, in a chat with newsmen, said it is not ideal that the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and the national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, are from the country's northern region. The PDP chief, who did not mind giving up his position to fix the rift in the party, also said the main opposition will retain the presidential seat next year. Meanwhile, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has carpeted the Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, for allegedly launching crackdowns in his political opponents, including those of his own People's Democratic Party, PDP. The rights group, in a statement issued by its national coordinator, Emmanuel Onwubiku, urged the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, the Director General of the State Security Services, DSS, Yusuf Magaji Bichi, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, to instruct their operatives not to be used by Governor Wike for his tyrannical attacks against political rivals. According to the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Governor Wike, who is a lawyer, ought to be abreast in the indubitably binding and authoritative fact that constitutional democracy embodies several constitutional and democratic rights that are fundamental human rights enshrined in Chapter 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of 1999 as amended, including the rights of civil and political freedoms, freedom of association, peaceful assembly, and respect for the dignity of human rights of human persons, all of which are protected both locally and globally by binding precepts, laws, and covenants entered into by Nigeria as a member of the United Nations. The rights group stated that as a politician of many years of experience, the Rivers State Governor is not expected to be linked to tyranny, dictatorship, or launching attacks against political rivals. Reacting to Governor Wike's recent actions, the rights groups reminded the former presidential aspirant that he will not be in power forever. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says, contrary to reports making the rounds, it has not discarded the electronic transmission of election results. Spokesman to the Commission, Festus Okoye, in a statement, said INEC is not contemplating revert to the manual process of results transmission. The INEC Commissioner reassured Nigerians that the electronic transmission of results has come to stay. adding that this method further boosts the credibility and transparency of the electoral process when citizens follow polling unit level results on the INEC result viewing portal on real time on election day. The All Progressives Congress APC has unveiled the Media and Communication Directorate of the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Kashim Shettima campaign, a list that includes the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo. The Director, Media and Publicity, Bayo Onanuga, said in a statement that the Directorate, approved by the presidential candidate, is made up of 3 departments. The 3 departments are Public Affairs, Media and Publicity, and Strategic Communication. It added that the Minister of State for Labor, Festus Keyamo, will continue his role as a spokesman of the campaign as Director of Public Affairs. According to the statement, the tripodal arrangement, the first in a presidential campaign, has a line of other assistant directors and senior officials representing the nation's various regions with job specifications spelled out. The Osun State 2022 Election Petition Tribunal on Monday granted the ex parte applications filed by Governor Boyega Oyetola of the All Progressives Congress APC. The tribunal ordered that the petition notice should be pasted on the tribunal's notice board as another means to serve state governor-elect Senator Ademola Adeleke. The tribunal also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to release Osun election materials used at the poll to Oyetola and the APC for inspection. The tribunal panel chairman Tessier Agola Kume and a member Benedict Amangbo Obuli presided over the sitting, which was held at the premises of the State High Court in Osogbo. Recall that INEC had declared Adeleke the winner of the July 16 governorship election in Osun State, having polled a total number of 403,271 votes against 375,027 polled by Governor Oyetola. Oyetola is currently challenging the results of the governorship election at the tribunal. The Nigerian Army says it will investigate after 2 soldiers were reportedly arrested over the murder of an Islamic cleric in Yobe State, Sheikh Goni Gashua. According to a statement signed by Army spokesperson Kennedy Anyao, the Army is already in touch with the Yobe State Police Command to unravel the identity of the suspected soldiers. The cleric was said to be traveling from Gashua to Kano when he was followed in a bus by the attackers. Meanwhile, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has threatened to drag the federal government of Nigeria and the 5 governors of the Southeast Geopolitical Zone to the International Criminal Court in the Hague, Netherlands, over the rising killings and kidnappings in the zone. Huriwa's national coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Onwubiko, in a statement described the incidents in Imo, Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi, and Abia states as crimes against humanity, which, according to him, should be stopped forthwith. The group said both federal and state governments are duty-bound to protect Nigerian citizens and should not be exposed to insecurity as prevalent in the southeast in the last 2 years. Recall that gunmen on Sunday kidnapped 4 Reverend Sisters of the Catholic Church along the dreaded Okigwe-Enugu Road in Imo State whilst on their way for morning mass. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has raised the alarm over the exodus of lecturers from the nation's universities for greener pastures abroad. The union attributed the development to the federal government's poor treatment of its members, which it said had forced many to venture into other sources of livelihood. Speaking to journalists, the national president, ASU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, lamented that many lecturers are taking to farming and other economic activities, while a large number had left the country. Osojeke spoke in reaction to the government's refusal to meet some of their demands, including the payment of 7 months' backlog of salaries occurred during the strike. The Joint Health Sector Unions and the Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations have commended the federal government for paying the withheld salaries of their members. The government had withheld the April and May 2018 salaries of JOHESU and AHPA members after the health workers embarked on a strike. The acting national secretary of JOHESU, Matthew Ajurotu, in the statement said some of its members in FMC, Owerri, Juth, and Luth were yet to receive their April and May 2018 salaries. The unions urged the government to speedily implement their demands in order to avoid health workers' strike, which had been suspended. No fewer than 137 persons out of 344 civil servants on the Directorate Cadet jostling to be appointed as principals of the nation's 110 unity schools across the country failed the examination organized by the Federal Ministry of Education. Our correspondent learned that 207 directors who passed the computer-based competency test had been scheduled for oral interviews. The federal government had decided that from the 2022-2023 academic session, those to be appointed principals of the schools must have taken part in a competency-based test and emerged successful. According to a circular signed by the Director, Human Resource Management, Federal Ministry of Education, David Gende, only 207 of the earlier shortlisted 344 candidates passed the computer-based competency test and were scheduled for oral interviews. At least 2 children have died after another building collapsed on Adeleye Street, Ladilak, in the Bariga area of Lagos State. According to the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, 3 adult males also sustained injuries and were taken to nearby hospitals. The Nigeria Governors Forum has accused the lead counsel in the Paris Club Fund case, Ned Nwoko, of telling what it's described as half-truth, following the latter claim that the governors demanded and received $100 million to prosecute elections in some states. A statement by the NGF said Ned's claim in Saturday's press briefing is an attempt to hide the truth. The NGF noted that it will not waste time defending claims, maintaining that its role in the whole of this Paris Club refund debacle to consultants is to ensure that Nigeria's citizens are not unlawfully deprived of resources meant for their development. The National Bureau of Statistics says prices of selected food items increased in July. It made the declaration in its Selected Food Prices Watch report for July 2022 released in Abuja. The NBS stated that the average price of 1 kilogram of white beans rose by 23.22% from 444 naira 21 kobo in July 2021 to 547 naira 38 kobo in July 2022. The report stated also that the average price of 1 kilogram of tomatoes increased on a year-on-year basis by 7.71% from 414 naira 83 kobo in July 2021 to 446 naira 81 kobo in July 2022. State-by-state analysis showed that Ebonyi recorded the highest average price of 1 kilogram of white beans in July 2022 at 900 naira 51 kobo, while the lowest price was recorded in Bruno at 317 naira 73 kobo. Similarly, Rivers recorded the highest price of 1 kilogram of local rice at 619 naira 62 kobo, while the lowest was recorded in Jigawa at 363 naira 34 kobo. The federal government says it has started making moves to resolve tariff shortfalls in the power sector. Vice President Yemi Osibanjo disclosed this in his remarks delivered virtually at the inauguration of a board for the Nigeria Electricity Liability Management Company. In the Vice President's opinion, NEMCO will emerge onward efforts to resolve liabilities related to tariff shortfalls for distribution companies, among other challenges plaguing Nigeria's power sector. The company has been running without a duly constituted board since the first one was inaugurated in 2013 and dissolved shortly after. The recent one-day strike by workers of the Transmission Company of Nigeria crashed Nigeria's power generation from a peak of 4,829.5 megawatts to as low as 43 megawatts. Data obtained from the Federal Ministry of Power showed that the country's power grid performance indicated that peak power generation on Tuesday before the workers' strike was 4,829.5 megawatts. Staff of the transmission company, under the aegis of the National Union of Electricity Employees (NUEE), shut down the country's power grid last Wednesday, throwing businesses and other power consumers into darkness. They went on strike in protest against a compulsory promotion interview for principal managers, unpaid entitlement, among other issues, and crippled the country's power supply for several hours before the intervention of the federal government. And you are listening to 1TV Global News, coming to you live from Megaband 97.3 FM. Still ahead, Russia says Ukraine behind death of Putin ally's daughter. And the rest of the news will be right back shortly after this break. You're welcome back. On a foreign scene, the death toll from a devastating 30-hour siege by Al-Shabaab jihadists at a hotel in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, has climbed to 21. Health Minister Ali Aji Adan disclosed this as anxious citizens awaited news of missing relatives. Emergency workers have been trying to clear the debris of a gun and bomb attack by the Al-Qaeda-linked group on the popular Hyatt Hotel, which left parts of the building in ruins, with many feared trapped inside. The Ministry of Health has so far confirmed the death of 21 people and 117 people wounded in the assault that began on Friday evening and lasted over a day. The hotel sustained heavy damage during the gunfight between Somali forces and the insurgents. Russia's FSB security services say Ukraine is behind a car bombing in the outskirts of Moscow that killed the daughter of hardline Russian ideologue Alexandra Dugin. Dugin, an outspoken ultra-nationalist intellectual and a vocal supporter of the Kremlin offensive in Ukraine, is thought to have been the likely target of the attack. The FSB said in a statement carried by Russian news agency said the crime was prepared and committed by Ukrainian special services. Daria Dugina was killed Saturday when a bomb placed in a car Land Cruiser went off as she drove on a highway some 40 kilometers outside Moscow. On sports tonight, Red Devils legend Wayne Rooney says Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag can boost his hopes of securing his first Premier League points against Liverpool on Sunday if he dropped Cristiano Ronaldo and Marcus Rashford. United have opened their campaign with embarrassing defeats, Brighton recording their first ever win at Old Trafford, followed by a 4-0 whipping by Brentford last weekend. It leaves them rooted at the bottom of the Premier League for the first time in 30 years. United host a Liverpool outfit who are also seeking their first win of the campaign following 2 draws against Fulham and Crystal Palace. And that's the much we can take for now. Before we go, let's look at the recap of the major headlines. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has insisted on Iocha's IU's sack as PDP national chairman. Indigenous people of Biafra has rejected Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and Igbo presidency. Russia said Ukraine behind death of Putin's ally's daughter. And that's all for now. Thanks very much for joining us. I am Esther Chimizi. Do have a wonderful evening.